get started. Hello, Pasquin, and welcome to the SFF podcast. And how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice, excellent. And on that said, I think we're gonna start the podcast. So, um, all right, I'm gonna search for the questions I have to ask you. So, Pasquin Vivi, you're a fan game maker. You've made Sonic Calamity along with a team of different people, I think. And I was wondering, how did you start making fun games exactly?
Well, it started back in like late 2014 around when Sonic Boom came out. Cause right, you know how Rise of Lyric turned out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I want to make something better than that, and that's when I started developing Sonic Freedom, which would eventually turn into Cosmic Eternity and then Calamity.
Mm-hmm.
But it originally started out as kind of like a spite project and has turned into a passion project since then.
Okay, so you started it because the official Sonic games didn't have a certain level of quality, and you wanted to do your own thing, perhaps. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm. I think we can all. I think lots of fun games have started this way. And about Sonic Calamity and all, how have you decided to convert it to a passion project? Like, what was the did you have more motivations behind this choice?
Well, it's mostly like originally, like I said, it was a spite project, but the longer I worked about it, the more passionate I got about it, specifically with like what I can and can't do with it. And it's like, wow, I can do all this stuff now. I'm really invested in making this.
Mm. And as the project continued, you've continued to gather more members, if I think rightly.
Yeah, that actually didn't start until 2020 when I started working on the current iteration of the project.
Mhm.
Where once I had like footage out showing what the game plays like and everything, I started looking for writers and level designers, which of course the gameplay caught everyone's eye. I think Fiery Scar was the first person to join the team, and he originally joined on as a writer but then became co-director as things went on.
Okay.
And over time, he brought in a bunch of people from Sonic World DX and other things. And then once we finished casting, we brought in Blue Speedmouse, who ended up bringing in a bunch of people from Adrenaline, too.
That's awesome. Well, I thought Blue Speed Mouse was one of your alt accounts.
No, he's just a friend that's voicing Sonic and helping with sound design and stuff.
Oh, alright, I understand. So, right now, how many members are there in total?
Oh, let me check the server.
Like, I saw there was Techno Cinema joining at some point, and I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah, Techno's on the soundtrack.
Yeah, this is gonna be a banger.
So including anyone on the soundtrack, I haven't counted the voice cast yet because we're still working out like extras and everything. But counting the music cast, we have over 20 people working on this game right now.
20
Not
people.
including myself.
Not including yourself. That's
Not
bonkers.
including myself.
That's bonkers. Holy whoa. Wait. I just can't believe it. That's gotta be one of the largest Sonic projects I've ever heard of.
Yeah, no, we're really going through trying to focus on like quality and everything. We need as many people as we can get on this thing.
Yeah, for sure. So but how do you all develop it on Unity? I think it's you use Unity for the game, right?
Yeah, so we have myself, other programmers, Dr. Bean, who is a concept artist, level designer, and Landy, I think, also has source access because he's working on textures. But pretty much, there's just a few people who actively have access to the project, and the others just like work on textures and models to send to the people with source access.
Okay. Mm. Um, so globally, there are people who work externally from the Unity source file, and then there are the coders and the level designer who work on it directly onto the game. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. But when you have to transfer files, for example, a musician made a new music file, a new song for the 4-man level. When you have to import it, do you take it on Google Drive or Discord? How do you implement it into the game?
They usually just send us the files through the music server on Discord.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I can understand. But as files go and pile up sometimes, do you have a way of sorting them or making organization for all the files? Do you have something else?
Like within the project or just in general?
Within and in general.
Within the project, I have like a bunch of folders sorting everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go into the Calamity assets folder, and there's just like audio, models, scripts, all that stuff. Outside of it, we do have a dev server where like everything's all neat and organized, and there's also like one server specifically for music and then one specifically for voice acting.
Whoa! So there's a server dedicated entirely to some aspects of the game.
Yep.
I never thought of this. This is so interesting.
Yeah, if I remember, the voice acting server was actually the one we used for auditions.
Oh yeah. So you run auditions, but have you proceeded to hire more people into the game with auditions?
Like bringing in multiple actors?
Yeah, yeah.
So pretty much we had kind of an open casting call with like... We gave what characters we were bringing in voice actors for and had an open casting call. And pretty much everyone who was brought in for casting was brought into the voice acting server. And then we just did like one-on-one voice calls with myself, Fiery, and then the person auditioning. And then like as we went along, we would just like figure out who sounds the best for this and then just go with them.
So you could say, yeah.
At one point, we actually had to make a second voice acting server just for casting Sonic because there were so many chosen and so many people auditioning just for Sonic.
Yeah, after all, he's the main role. Hold on, let me get the questions. Alright. So after this very interesting aspect of the development, I'd like to ask you, how did you discover Sonic the Hedgehog particularly? You've mentioned Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, but was there a game or some sort of media that introduced you to the game franchise as a whole before?
Sonic has pretty much been a constant in my life. If I remember, one of the very first games I played was Sonic 2, so...
On the Mega Drive?
Yeah. I actually still have the original copy and Genesis that I owned, but the Genesis doesn't work anymore.
Oh shoot! Did it break or?
No. It just won't receive any power anymore. But I did get a Model 1 to replace it, though.
Okay, cool. That's cool. So you can still play the OG superior version of Sonic 2.
I do need to replace my old copy of Sonic and Knuckles, though the lock-on doesn't work anymore.
Oh. But can you find Sonic and Knuckles copies still around here nowadays?
Yeah, I usually just go on eBay.
They're super pricey?
Most Sonic games in my collection haven't been too pricey, aside from, like, I think Sonic R is the one I spent the most on.
Sonic R?
Yeah.
I wonder why. Like, it's not really a main game. It maybe the vocals give it so much value. I don't know. um. All right. Thank you for answering this question. And do you have a favorite Sonic game?
Depends on what aspect we're talking about.
Mm,
Cause like as like a mainline 3D, like my favorite mainline 3D title is SA1, specifically the Dreamcast version.
yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff going on with that actually inspired a lot of the current decisions with Calamity. But also, like, my absolute favorite spin-off is the first Sonic Riders, and that also shows in some of Calamity's mechanics, like the drift and the ring leveling system.
Oh. So you could say Calamity is inspired by Sonic Adventure 1, the Dreamcast version, and the Sonic Riders originally on the GameCube and the PS2, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I never thought about combining these two. That's interesting.
yeah.
So, mhm.
Originally, when I started making the current version back in 2020, it was literally just like, I'm gonna take classic Sonic mechanics and modernize them. But then as it went along, I just started adding in a bit more from Adventure and Riders.
Yeah, because maybe adding all of the classic moveset wasn't enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of limited to make a 3D platformer game. You have the drop dash and the jump, and that's basically it.
I mean, Utopia managed it.
Yeah, true, true, true. Utopia did it, but it did have a really spread level design, and I think it was really well made around that. But
Yeah,
maybe an entire game around it wouldn't be as nice as a Riders and as a modern game inspired Sonic game.
modernized, yeah.
Yeah, modernized. Exactly. That's the term I was searching for.
Yeah,
Oh,
a lot of people like to think that some aspects of Calamity were inspired by GT, but it was actually just kind of made in its own bubble.
hmm. As the development went on, you made moves, and it wasn't intended to look like GT's. Is that it?
Not necessarily the moves, more so just like the physics and general gameplay loop. And
Oh,
specifically the level design, people like to cite GT.
hmm. Because it's wide and you have space to play around.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
I like to see it as kind of a physics playground, though.
Yeah, physics playground. Yeah, so you can do all sorts of tricks, go in the upper lane whenever you want, etc.
Nah, we haven't added tricks yet. I don't
Yeah.
know for how to implement those into the current gameplay, but yeah,
Oh, I thought.
pretty much like it takes the kind of classic design fundamentals of like, here's the environment, work around it.
Mm,
So if you've seen Speed Mouse's gameplay, there's like a lot of weird tricks he does, like building up a ton of speed to get as much air as possible, and then just like doing a 180 with a midair drift.
Yeah, the 180. I wasn't expecting that. Like, holy shit! You never say that in a Sonic game.
Yeah. A lot of people in the YouTube comments think that the 180s were kind of an intentional level design choice, but no, that was literally just Blue showing off. The level itself actually has pretty straightforward sense of direction.
Yeah. Would you say? Oh wait, wait. What are Speed Mouse's pronouns, by the way?
I believe him.
Okay, and what about yours? I've completely forgot.
Mine are she, her.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. Um, I'm gonna pass to the next question then. Um, so what engine and which framework specifically have you used to create Sonic Calamity?
Um, so I've pretty much been using Unity throughout the entirety of development since 2014. It's gone through quite a few different frameworks, because The very first version of it back in 2014 was made in a little paid thing that I made a model for called I think it was called like Platforming Game Development Kit or something, PGDK.
Okay.
After that, I believe I moved it to Hedge Physics. And there was a brief moment where it was in Bumper, and then I moved it back to a modified Hedge Physics. And then after that, it was a custom framework that I called Calamity Dev Kit. And the current version is based or built off of an early version of my framework, Pinball.
Okay, so this is a custom framework made on top of an old one that was unreleased. Is that it?
No, Pinball's released. It's just the version that Calamity was built off of was pre-release.
Okay. So, what have you added exactly? Could you tell us more about what you created?
So I pretty much created all of it. At the time that Calamity branched off of Pinball, I think I just had like basic movement and jumping, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much everything that's in Calamity move-wise was built specifically for Calamity, even though there's some similarities with the current version of Pinball.
That's actually really impressive. I saw grind rails and trick air. How do you call that? Air circles.
The trick rings?
Yeah, the trick rings. Yeah, and there are some targets. There's the sky sanctuary teleporters. There's a lot of stuff. You work really hard.
Oh yeah, the teleporters are actually, and the wind rails also are actually specifically for the Airborne Altar stage. What we're planning on doing is with each zone, each has its own specific gimmick, like in the classic games.
Oh yeah.
To like help, to like aside from outside of aesthetics, helping the stages stand out more and be more memorable.
Yeah, kind of like in different way, kind of like in Unleashed, where there were different grind rail meshes for different stages and worlds.
Well, like, more so what I'm thinking is, like, Airborne Altar, yes, it's like the Sakura Garden Sky Sanctuary one, but, like, gameplay-wise, we wanted it to stand out as, like, oh yeah, that's the one that has the wind rails.
So it wasn't associated with an already existing level, but something entirely original.
Kind of. Like, before I started bringing everyone on, a lot of the levels were just rehashes. But once I brought Fiery on, we kind of like started bouncing ideas back and forth until we eventually landed on like more original interpretations of existing stages. So like like I said, Airborne Altar is like a Sakura Garden Sky Sanctuary. I believe we're doing some fun stuff with Station Square. I know we have stuff planned for Angel Island for the stage before Airborne Altar.
Do you have a maybe a list of other stage themes you'd like to do in Calamity, or is it?
We actually, we have a full list of the stages that are planned for the story.
Oh, so there's going to be story mode.
Yeah, the stage selection is actually based entirely around how the story plays out.
Could you tell us a bit more about the story?
So I don't want to give away too much, but pretty much what it is Eggman has stolen the Master Emerald to power an apocalyptic mech, and pretty much Sonic and Tails are going to get it back. But Eggman also has his lackey Eggette, who is there to pretty much keep Sonic from catching up to Eggman.
So he would be a sort of lackey villain. Oh wait. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like, Eggman's still the main antagonist, but Eggette is a secondary antagonist.
Can you show us what he looks like?
Let me see if I can find the concept art. Might have to see if I can find someone from the dev team who has any. I think I might have some concept art on Twitter. I am not calling it whatever dumb thing Elon has named it.
Yeah, none of us are gonna.
We're gonna keep dead. We're just gonna keep dead naming Twitter.
Yes, exactly. Elon Musk is transphobic, but he wants us to rename Twitter.
Stop calling it Twitter, guys, says guy who can't even call his daughter the right name.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
That
is there a Twitter account? How do you the listeners, the viewers will watch to promote?
Huh?
Sorry. Rephrase.
That was kind of worded weirdly, and also I have audio processing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you have a Twitter account that our spectators can subscribe to or follow?
Yeah. Specifically for Calamity development on Twitter, it's at Sonic_Calamity. And then I also have a Tumblr that admittedly I don't update much. That's Sonic-Calamity.
Oh, I'm gonna follow you on Tumblr.
Alright. I am gonna message Dr. Bean for the Eggette art that was used in the cast announcement, and I will send it to you later once I get it.
No problem. Alright, let's go to the next questions. So what were some bugs or development problems you've encountered, and how have you fixed them?
Definitely, like, scheduling and everything with the team has been an issue. Same thing with, like, everyone always has stuff going on, so it's hard to, like, consistently keep up development lately.
Mm. And would you say that the communication, and would you say that the communication and the planning issues were a big deal? How have you learned exactly how to go around them or solve them?
So, this is something we're still actively dealing with, because end of last summer, like around when Sage happened, we had like a huge uptick in how much we were able to get done, and that's actually where we got a majority of everything done. But then since then, everyone's just been like way too busy.
Yeah, considering it's a fun project that has... Wait, do you have revenue for the artists?
No, this is all volunteer.
Okay, yeah, that can explain why people have other priorities and unfortunately can't work on the game.
Yeah.
Alright.
But it's like that sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta do with what you have.
Yeah, because I also admittedly haven't been able to do much in it lately because I've been trying to focus on my original projects.
Oh, which ones?
So I have two main ones. The first one I've been working on since January 2014. So, like, about 10 months before I started Calamity. That's called Luco Legacy of the Reborn. It is my pet project. I will never cancel this thing. And the other one, I've definitely posted concept art for this and talked about it before. It's my Jet Set Radio successor, Metro Tag Girls.
Mm-hmm. Do you have some social media accounts we can follow with these games?
I do have one for Tag Girls, but not Luco. The Twitter for Tag Girls is just Metro Tag Girls in one word.
Okay. Could you pass me the links you mentioned in the podcast later so that I can put it in the podcast description? Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll remind you which ones were asked if you want.
I got them right here. I can just send them.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question. Oh, do you want me to wait until you finished writing?
No, I'm actually just sending the link so you can go ahead and ask.
Okay. Can you describe to us the process for the level you showcased in the variety teaser? Like how was it done? When did you start it? Etc. etc.
I want to say we started this about a year ago. I know it was sometime last year. Pretty much what happened was Dr. Bean was kind of messing around with like layout and stuff and made this really crude 3D model version to like get a sense of depth and everything.
Mm.
But I ended up asking him, hey, why don't we just use this for block out? So pretty much he's just been like the level designer since. And he's been making strides because the original block out was actually his first time working in Blender.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So, he made all of that stage on Blender, and that was the first time he used it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's bonkers. Actually.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
And did he plan the level beforehand? Did he have some sketches, something?
There is some concept art for like the general aesthetics and foliage and everything. But in terms of the actual layout, I think there was like a rough sketch that's the general flow of everything, and everything else is just kind of improvised and being messed with as we go along to make sure it fits with the everything.
And could you show us maybe the sketches? Do you have them? Do you have them on you?
I don't, since I did recently lose the original dev server.
Oh.
But a few of I know earlier I did send you some of the concept art.
Yeah, I got
that was for Airborne Altar.
And they look really, really good.
Yeah. Now, we also have another artist that's... I don't know if they're in the new dev server, but they were working on, like, rendering lighting and stuff in one of the pieces.
Sorry, I'm kind of tired.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, it's almost midnight where I live. Yeah, I can see the rendering and the lighting is... Everything as a whole is really worked and polished. When I see these works, I feel like, yo, this gives me so much inspiration, and I'm pretty sure the audience will feel some degree of inspiration as well. It's really well made. Could you tell us?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're going for with the whole game. Is like we're going out of our way to make sure it's the best we can make it.
Omens, get ready. You have some.
Yeah, I don't wanna point fingers here, Omens, but
yeah, don't worry. Oh, this is Eggette.
Yeah, that's Eggette.
She looks so sassy.
Yeah, originally, I didn't know what was fully going on with her character, but over time, as the story was being written, she ended up becoming this kinda sassy little Eggman fangirl.
Oh.
So, like, unlike other interpretations of her where she's like Eggman's niece or whatever, she has no familiar connection to him in this game. She's just a fangirl that happened to become his lackey.
Yeah, it's not like Sedge, who's Eggman's AI or daughter. It's literally a fangirl that came up to him and said, hey!
Yeah, literally.
And so, what is she gonna do?
So, like I said, she's kind of a secondary antagonist. She's gonna be the one piloting most of the bosses to keep Sonic at bay so Eggman can pull off his plan.
And is there something? Will she have presence in the cutscenes, or even in the
Yeah,
other places? Maybe.
yeah, she will. Outside of the boss fights, she will definitely have presence in the cutscenes.
All right. This seems like a nice original character for a Sonic game. Not gonna lie, I could see this in official Sonic games.
Yeah.
All right. Um. So you've mentioned a list of levels previously, and if this information is not private, could you tell us how many levels are planned in total for the game?
I believe we have 8 zones. Let me check the doc. Seven zones.
7 zones. Okay. So 7 levels?
Yeah, 7 zones with 2 acts each, and they're all stitched together, kind of like Sonic Adventure.
Oh, with the transition.
Yeah, pretty much. So, like, rather than you get Act 1 and Act 2 as separate levels, they're all considered like one solid level.
I guess there could be some adaptive music depending on the zone you are.
Yeah, we're planning on that. We just don't have Act 2 music for Airborne Altar done yet.
And in this showcase, in the showcase and in the trailer you've revealed, were there the 2 acts into it or just one?
For Airborne Altar,
Yeah.
yeah, all the zones have 2 acts. We've just been holding back on showing Airborne Altar Act 2 because we don't want to show off too much before the demo is ready.
Yeah, I can understand. There's seriously gonna be so much content. I think the Act 1 is around 7 minutes or 4, maybe I'm wrong, but
No, Act 1 is only about minute and a half, depending on how fast you are. Based on my testing, I'm saying this as someone who has extensively played the game, learned like deep knowledge of its mechanics. A casual full playthrough of Airborne Altar took about like 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's long for a Sonic game. That's a lot. That's a lot of content.
Yeah, Act 2 is pretty beefy, but if you're unhinged like Blue is, then you can beat it in like 2 minutes.
So, the more you know the level, the faster you can beat it.
Yeah. Also, deep knowledge of the mechanics and how to exploit them.
Okay, yeah. That's the main thematic behind Sonic's core gameplay. The better you are, the faster you can go. And yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I'm gonna. So, I've completed and asked all of the main questions. I'm gonna skip to the. Wait, did I say it already? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna pass to the conclusion, and I'd like to know about yourself or any other dev members you might know. Do you have a dev routine, like a morning routine or something in your day where you organize yourself and put development as one of the main activities? Can you tell us more about it?
No, I have ADHD, so I have no organization skills whatsoever.
I can relate to that. And do you know if other dev members have one, or
I don't.
okay? Ultimately, do you have some tips for people who would like to play Sonic Calamity?
Just Yeah, for players.
For, yeah, newcomers and all.
The big one I've said in the showcase is the speed is entirely tied to your skill. So like the game is as fast as you are capable of playing it. So like if you get really good with the mechanics, you can just fly over everything.
Mm.
But it'll definitely seem a lot slower if you're like brand new to the game.
So if you go extremely fast, then if you want to go extremely fast, you have to spend a lot of time knowing the layout and how to execute your moves.
Yeah, like if you want to like actually match Speed Mouse like in terms of speed
Mm-hmm.
and level time, then you have to like gain a deep knowledge of the gameplay, the meta, how to exploit like every little ramp and bump in the stage.
So
Pretty much what I'm saying is solely because of Speed Mouse, there is meta in this game.
yeah, he showed off the meta and all of the content behind it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we're actually planning on adding an achievement for that.
Oh, yeah, for a specific
Yeah.
speed.
Specifically, if you can beat his time in any zone, you get the achievement. It's called Faster Than Sonic.
Faster Than Sonic. Wait, maybe you should rename it to Faster Than Blue Speed Mouse.
Well, I called it that specifically because he's the one voicing Sonic.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes also sense as to why he's so fast.
Yeah.
Well,
no, he spent so much time just messing around with the mechanics before we even had the second act implemented. So,
yeah, we can see very well on the trailer. He's mastered the layouts. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, that was all for the interview. Is there something you would like to say to the audience?
Sonic the Hedgehog is my friend.
He really is. Well, thank you very much for being on the show and accepting for the interview. If you have any questions about the SFF podcast, dear audience, you can ask it to me via Twitter or via email, and I'll make sure to put all of the info in the description. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Pasco and Vivi, and hope you have a great day.
Yo.
Well, see you.